Can we, real quick, can we all
so-
acknowledge that Kristi Noem and Donald Trump lied about the conditions relating to the slain Minnesota driver?
No,
Yeah,
absolutely, we cannot. Like,
we cannot agree on
we've
that.
we've all seen the video, right? And everybody walks away from the video absolutely
Okay, wait.
convinced
First-
that it
first
vindicates
thing,
their pre-existing
Was
position.
the
So I don't
ice
really
driver
think
was the
that
ice driver stuck in ice? Was his
sorry?
car trapped in a snowbank?
I don't know.
Okay, can we wait and bring up the video and then go and watch it? There's less than 10 minutes of video for this. This is probably going to be one of the most important
No, I
things
think
to
that's a
finding the
complete waste of time.
No,
It's
no, no.
not
What's a waste of
particularly
time is having an
significant
argument about whether or not we should invoke the Insurrection Act. You haven't bothered to watch the 5 to 10 minutes of footage available on this. I don't even know why you're here right now. You should mute for 10 minutes. You should just go watch all the available footage. It's going to take you less than 10 minutes to watch it, and then come back when you can have a fully formed opinion on like the inciting
this
moment
is
that would
just
be
like a
why the
typical
Insurrection Act.
derailment
It is a
tactic, so
typical,
that we're
yes,
not talking
leftists,
about, like, the
liberals like to
general
derail with
substance.
facts all the
hold on,
time. I
okay,
know, it's
okay,
really
hold on.
agonizing, but
Hold on,
yeah,
all of you,
unfortunately the
please.
facts are kind
All
of
of you.
important.
All of you, please. Like, I understand that it's going to be a passionate panel. I get it. But we can't just talk over each other, so we got to go one at a time. Renee, I'm sorry, not Renee. Hunter.
It sounded like two people on drum solos at the same time.
Hunter, if you want to give us your response to that, do you want me to bring up the footage, or should we just skip that part? What do you think, Renee?
And if you want to, I don't think it's particularly relevant to the substance of any debate. Like, I don't think anyone's position on anything that's happened would change based on whether or not the car was caught in a snowbank. Right?
True.
The issue
Conservative positions are never
was
fact reliant. That is absolutely true. I do agree with that.
The issue, I don't think anybody is, right? I think the issue is that, like, the question with regard to the Renee Good situation was whether it's a good shoot. We can argue about that forever, but frankly,
that wasn't the question that I posed at all.
Their own mind.
What I'm a bit confused about is it seems that Destiny's basically arguing that if the ICE agent was unjustified in shooting.
Nope, that's
Renee
not what I argued.
Good.
I didn't argue that at all.
But
Do we have? I know you have an Australian accent. Can you speak English? Hello?
I mean, you're talking about the Renee Good shooting as the.
No, I'm saying that Kristi Noem and Donald Trump made egregious lies about what led up to that and what happened with that shooting. Whether you think it was a good shoot or a bad shoot, they demonstrably lied about the facts leading up to that. That would be the inciting moment for any type of Insurrection Act thing, right? Because all the protests and everything have kind of been based off of that. Her being shot, whether you think it was good or not, and the fact that they lied so much and so egregiously about that means that they lose any right to invoke any kind of insurrection, because we would have no trust in them as the American public to actually wield that power in a responsible manner.
No. But this is the core question is there an insurrection in Minnesota? And you're seemingly arguing that if the shooting.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from. My bad. I was just coming through. My bad. Go ahead. Yeah, every time he talks, it just happens sometimes. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. The core question is there a state of insurrection in the state of Minnesota? You're almost arguing that if the shooting of Renee Good was unjustified, then potentially
No, that's not what I said.
The resultant unrest would be justified.
No, that's not what I said.
So maybe this will help. Destiny, you claim that Kristi Noem and Donald Trump have lied about the shooting, and therefore it doesn't matter what they say. They've lied to the American public, so they cede ground. Can you give us an example of a lie that maybe we could talk about, and maybe we can go forward from there?
Yeah, the way that they both characterize it, we can find the exact words if you want. Pretty sure it's still up on Trump's Truth Social. Kristi might have made a tweet. I know she's made multiple statements about it. Their claims were that Renee tried to viciously run over the guy with her car, that the ICE vehicle was stuck, and that multiple ICE agents were trying to get it out of the like an ice bank or a snow bank or whatever when she was trying to run them over. There was one other statement, but they lied. They completely mischaracterized. I wouldn't even say mischaracterized. They just told factual lies that anybody that's seen the footage knows that these are just total lies, regardless of whether it was a good or a bad shoot. Even if you think it was a good shoot, they lied about all of the circumstances surrounding the event. And they continue to lie about paid protesters. They haven't shown any evidence or proof of that, and that's a lie they've also carried on for a decade. So all of these things, they've lied so much about that inciting moment. Why would I allow them to use that moment and the ensuing riots to invoke the Insurrection Act? That's crazy.
What riot?
Well, the core question is there a state of insurrection in the state of Minnesota? Would you agree there is, or would
No,
you
I don't
agree
care. If conservatives can't even agree on fact here, they don't have the right to participate in this conversation.
That doesn't make sense. The core question is there civil unrest in the state of Minnesota?
That's a much more complicated question than the very simple facts relating to Renee's shooting. And if you can't even understand the simple facts, you don't deserve to be in a conversation about invoking the Insurrection Act.
thing here. The core thing is there civil unrest in the state of Minnesota? And yes, there is civil unrest. There are people who
How
are
can I
violently
trust that?
attacking
How can I
ISIS.
trust? I don't know if I could trust that because apparently Renee
you can look
Goodman
at
was
the
a
footage.
paid
There-
agitator
there-
terrorist. So
there-
how do I know that there are people
there-
assaulting ICE
the
officers?
the Renee Good thing is completely ancillary to the point. Is there a state of civil unrest in the state of Minnesota right now? Yes, there is.
How do you
Are
know?
there attacks on
How do you
ICE
know?
agents in
How
the
do you
state
know
of
there are
Minnesota
attacks on
right
ICE?
now?
How
Yes,
do you know there are attacks on ICE agents?
Because there are videos of this everywhere. It's very easy to see.
So
Drew,
wait, I don't know. I don't know who those people are. They could be deepfake AI. Maybe he's just a politician exaggerating.
Drew, send me a clip of one of the videos and we'll watch it on screen.
And you have to prove that it's not a deepfake AI as well, also. And I'm going to need the birth certificate of the guy, and it's got to be better than Obama's because we didn't trust that one either. Remember, go for it.
This is
It is. I agree. It is. Thank you. Yes, I agree, King.
No, it's to bring up birth certificates or whatever. There's literal footage of.
There was footage of Renee
people
Goodman as
attacking
well,
ICE.
but we can't agree on that either. So
there's photographs. There's photographs of like Will Stancil, the famous Twitter guy, just like chasing after ICE agents in his car.
yeah,
and
there's
just, like, blowing
photographs
a red
of there were photographs of documents that were classified strewn across the floor of Mar-a-Lago. But we don't believe in that either. So why should I believe in any of these photographs?
Okay, can I back up?
Drew, go ahead. Keep going.
They are trying to use completely ancillary points to just bog down the debate, bog down the whole thing. They can't.
Isn't that
admit
frustrating when people can't agree on reality, and so you can't actually have a conversation about literally anything? That's gotta suck, huh?
The whole question is, oh wow, Trump lied
about everything. About 6 months ago, Trump lied 6 seconds ago. If Trump is breathing, he's lying.
Oh wow, Trump has exaggerated statements in the past. Therefore, a state of civil unrest in the state of Minnesota is justified. That's your argument.
If being a terrorist is your opinion, man, then a state of civil unrest, that's just your opinion, man.
This is to Destiny and to Nicholas. Do you both think that it was appropriate for the ICE protesters to go into that church and disrupt the services there? What do you think, Destiny? Of Don Lemon and the protesters going into the church, do you think that they were wrong to do so? Do you support them in doing so? What are your thoughts on the different styles of protest?
Don Lemon went into a church?
So
not him personally.
Yes.
About 20 different protesters. They went into a church.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I'm hearing this for the first time. I don't have an opinion on it. Sorry.
Oh, fair enough. No opinion on it and things like that. I guess overall, do you think that the protesters have gone too far at all from what you've seen?
No, I haven't heard any examples of that, so I'm not sure.
They attacked the church, for example. They attacked.
I haven't heard anything about that. Sorry, I haven't heard anything about that, so I'm not sure. I can't really have an opinion on it.
It was one of the most high-profile incidents of civil unrest in Minnesota.
No, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. No, I haven't heard anything about that.
We're debating civil unrest.
Sorry, I haven't heard anything about that. I'm sorry, unfortunately.
Okay, well,
I mean,
fair-minded observers can obviously look at this and see that you're not engaging in good faith.
Just because I haven't heard about it?
Oh, it's obvious that you have heard about it, but you're just trolling.
How am I trolling? Because I haven't heard about a thing? What, I'm supposed to keep up with every single story that's ever happened in all of U.S. politics?
We're debating civil unrest in Minnesota, and this was the most high-profile incident of civil unrest over the past few days. It was extremely viral on Twitter, which you use all the time.
Oh, interesting. Wait, so then was the ICE agent that killed Renee, was his car stuck in an ice bank? Ooh.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. You see how unfortunate that is? How fucking... how called the fuck out you just were because you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about and your memory is selective and you won't engage with the facts. Isn't that frustrating right there? The honest take on the church thing is, here's my questions. One, because I did watch the videos around this. Did anybody ever call the cops to get the people removed or tell them to leave? I don't remember seeing it or hearing it. If they told them to leave and they didn't leave, my understanding is churches are private property, so you can arrest for trespassing. I hope that if they do get arrested for trespassing, the governor pardons every single one of them, like Donald Trump pardoned every single one of the fucking insurrectionists on January 6th so that they can walk free and go and fucking do it again with no consequence. But if they were asked to leave and they didn't, then they would have broken a crime. And they should be charged for it. And then the governor should pardon them immediately after so they could do it again. Just like Trump did with all the J6ers.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Hunter? Otherwise, I have another question for the panel.
Oh, no, it's I think I don't feel much of a need to respond to most of the things Destiny says because I think it's just very obvious to everybody who's going to be watching that he is not a good faith conversation participant. And one of my followers, when this conversation was announced, was like, "Oh God, get Destiny out of there." And for the record, this follower of mine agrees more with Decker's position and their position than
I feel like we can actually debate Decker.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we could, again, as I've said multiple times, have an interesting conversation on the merits of immigration, both legal and illegal. But yeah,
but you can't. How can you
given
have that
is
when you guys?
obviously not
You
going
can't even
to-
have.
Yeah, no,
you don't
I
agree
know,
with any of the facts.
I know what you're gonna do. Yeah, I know. That people
Well,
on the
how many
left.
violent-
Wait, hold on.
want
No,
to
wait.
make
Just as a quick thing. This is why. I'm just playing video games, and this is a deeply unserious conversation because he's going to say no to this. Would you agree that Donald Trump, when he gives the name of family members of, say, like a judge presiding on his case, that's a thing that could severely elevate the risk to those people?
Has that
I actually
happened?
This is
I
bullshit.
disagree
See,
with
that's
you.
why this is a deeply
If it-
unserious conversation.
I
It's
actually-
just not serious. It's just not
Well, I
real.
was actually going to say, I'll let you just straight up say, I think that's wrong if Trump does that. And if he has done it in the past, I'll condemn him. I don't think that's
Cool.
right.
You don't know. You never heard about that, though, right? This is why I haven't heard about the other thing, whatever you're talking about. ICE agents? Getting
No,
doxxed?
I'm sure.
Really?
I'm-
that
I'm-
actually happened? That's
I'm sure-
crazy. I haven't heard of it. Wait,
I'm sure
Don
that Trump
Lemon
has-
in a
I'm
Christian
sure that
church?
Trump-
Really? I don't know anything about that.
I was actually agreeing with Destiny, but he's just being obnoxious. Because I actually don't. I'm not a 100%. I don't agree with every single thing that Trump has ever said or done. So there are obviously cases where he intimidated legal officials, and I think that's wrong. Just for some, he's not even involved in the conversation.
So you're worried about corruption in the United States or something. That's why you're worried about unbounded immigration from China or whatever. Are you worried about the fact that the president of the United States has a crypto coin that allows people to donate to him without any trace?
I think the crypto coin's bad.
Like, but worse than anything else that's been done in terms of open access corruption to the president that we know of in recent U.S. history?
I just said to you that I think the crypto coin's bad.
I didn't ask if it was bad. I said, is it worse than any
I think it's
corruption
very
that a
bad.
president has been involved? Very bad? Listen to how fucking spineless and
very
cucky
bad.
your language is. Very bad? I'm asking you if it's
I
the worst
disagree-
thing
I-
that a president
I
has
strongly
done.
disagree with
This is
it.
why it's
But
an
it
unserious
doesn't-
conversation. Strongly disagree. Oh my God. Talk about political speak.
It doesn't then justify Somali community in Minnesota.
No,
engaging
but it
in
does
massive
justify
systematic
it
fraud,
does justify
which
the
is
fact
essentially
that
your argument.
people like you
Which is
shouldn't be
essentially
involved in
your
the
argument.
conversation
Which
because
is
you don't have the
essentially-
best
which is
interest
essentially your
in
argument.
corruption in mind. It's just partisan hackery. You're using topics that you can do to attack whatever brown people or whatever Democrats you want, but you don't actually give a fuck about the topics. Because if I were to search your Twitter, it's going to be totally fucking empty in terms of criticizing the rampant corruption that this administration has been involved in. You can't find a single piece of corruption that would be worse in all, or combined pieces that would be worse than single pieces of corruption that I could bring up. What about the fact that Donald Trump's son his company got a $700 million contract from the DOD? What about all the stuff related to Palantir? What about the 2 crypto scams that Donald Trump is running? What about the fact that in Mar-a-Lago, if you were part of the top 25 donors, there's crypto coin, you got a sit-down meeting with the president of the United States. None of these things are things you care about, but you go, well, for immigration, we care about Somalis because there was an organization that did $105 billion in fraud. You don't care about it. You just hate them because they're brown or whatever the fuck political talking point you've got. That's it. It's not a serious
I
conversation.
do think,
Hold on,
As
just
a-
real quick, Hunter. Just
okay.
real quick, just real quick. Like, so, I mean, just to back up Destiny a little bit here. Like, there has been huge proven fraud from President Donald Trump, and why? Like, I guess why should voters care about the Somali stuff when we have President Trump? If those things that he said was true, looting the treasury through crypto coin, pay to play, basically saying the top 25 donors get access, having his son get a $700 million contract, the
can I
bribery from
add one?
Qatar of $600 million plane. Like, and this
we
is to
just,
Hunter, real
we
quick,
just
Nicholas.
kidnapped.
I want Hunter
Yes, sir.
to answer, right? Like, why should anyone care about what Somali's doing when the president's doing that?
I mean, I see that as essentially a non sequitur. Like, if you can point to any instance where these things have been connected to policy changes that have been bad for the United States, right? Like, somebody paid us to do some policy
do you
that's
think
bad
it's
for the
bad
United
that the
States.
president's doing these things, like bad for the United States overall?
I mean, I would have to look into every individual instance of this to see if the facts are being characterized
did-
correctly. But like,
Here,
the
I
crypto
guess-
coin,
It's
the crypto coin is
shameless,
stupid.
bro. Oh my God, you have no shame. You're like not even human. It's like a snake, like slithering through the fucking guard. You're crazy. If I looked into any of these individual instances of fraud, I'm not sure anything. I bet that if I were to hold a gun to your head and give you a picture, a blank piece of paper, and I were to tell you to draw from memory the bottom of Hunter Biden's cock, I bet you'd be able to do it. But you don't know anything about some of the most rampant corruption that has ever existed in all of U.S. history, and you're living through it, and you don't know the details on any of it. You're clueless. It just shows you don't care about the corruption. That's it. Like, it's a super simple thing. Like, how could you pretend to care about corruption and not know any of these stories? It's because you don't care about corruption. It's because it's a partisan hackery bullshit point.